Good afternoon. Hi, everyone. What a
Hi, Patty.
Hello. What a pleasure to be live again today. Thank you for joining us for this exciting talk today with three of my favorite people for sure. And I can't wait to tell you a little bit about each one of them. I'd like to start by introducing myself. My name is Patty Dominguez, and I am Vice President of Architect and Design at Cosentino, North America. And today we are going to talk about the outdoors, and not just the outdoors, but the importance of what that space really means to all of us, the design aspect, and and the opportunity for us to talk even more right now as we are dealing with such an unforeseen circumstance that we're all facing throughout COVID. And as we all know, we have spent a lot of time at home and a lot of time outdoors. And this is the best time for us to put it all together and hopefully be able to hear from our friends and experts about how we can make a better space for outdoors. So now I'd like to introduce our amazing panel. First and foremost, I would like to introduce my dear friend, Mitch. Mitch Slater, president of Danver and Brown Jordan Outdoor Kitchens. Mitch and I go way back. We have known each other and worked together, and he has been a true partner and pioneer with Cosentino in the outdoor world. Mitch, we met 7 years ago, and from the moment we met, we spoke about a partnership. We talked about how we could work together and bring the outdoors and Decton with your beautiful cabinetry. We are so fortunate that since that day you believed in us and that you've been working with us, and you have created some of the most beautiful cabinets out there, and both with Danver and with Brown Jordan. Something important that I would like for everyone to know is that Mitch has invested in Cosentino, and as president of Brown Jordan Outdoor Kitchens has placed a Brown Jordan and Danver outdoor kitchen in every one of our Cosentino showrooms today. There are 52 showrooms, and every one of them has a Brown Jordan outdoor kitchen. And for that, and for everything we've done together, and for your friendship, I'd like to welcome you to the panel.
Well, thank you, Patty. It's great to be here with you and with everybody out there. And we look forward to continuing to work with you guys. You've done a great job in helping us move along, and I think we've probably helped you move along as well. I like to think that anyway. And hopefully we can talk about some things we're doing now today that are new and exciting. And we're looking forward to talking to you today.
Thank you. Thank you, Mitch. And welcome.
Thank you.
And You have helped us more than you can imagine. So it's been a great partnership, and I look forward to all the many years ahead with us continuing to innovate and work together. So welcome.
Thank you.
Next, I would like to introduce to you someone that probably doesn't need a lot of introduction because most of you know him. So our dear friend Daniel Germani, who is principal of Daniel Germani Designs. Daniel has been with me with, I think, one or two other talks during this pandemic, but Daniel and I are dear friends and talk very often. Daniel is an icon at Cosentino and has been essential to Decton. He believed in Decton from day one. I remember the first day we traveled to Spain together, and he saw it, fell in love with it, and immediately just grasped into wanting to do more and more. And that is Daniel. That's his personality. When you meet him, he is full of magic and full of passion. And that is who he is, who makes everything that he touches into this beautiful designs that he does. Daniel is also a creative director for Gandia Blasco and the creative director for Brown Jordan Outdoor Kitchens. During this time that we've known each other and worked together, it's been a pleasure to see what you've done and how you've grown into this particular segment, Daniel. And as you know, the Cosentino family loves you, and you are part of our family, and we are honored to be working with you. Recently, we have launched the Chromica collection with you that was designed by Daniel and our product development team, and it's beautiful. A lot of you are getting those samples right now. And if you are a lover for Decton solid colors like a beautiful green and a beautiful blue, I can't wait for you to see them. That's Daniel. And before that, he launched also with Cosentino our industrial collection. So welcome, Daniel, and thank you again for your time, for your friendship, and for being part of this panel.
Thank you, Patty. It's always a pleasure being here. You know, I love you dearly. We go back many years now, and this partnership became more than a partnership, became a friendship, and I really appreciate the platform that Cosentino had provided for me during all these years. And I appreciate the direction we're going, and I love developing colors, and every single one of them, it's one of my babies. And so I take great pride in this partnership. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't thank you enough.
Well, thank you. Your pride and love, it shows. People say, when I don't know if you guys have seen the movie like Water for Chocolate, but it's one of my favorite movies. And there's something that it talks about there that always makes me think about people like you who do things with love. Because when you cook, if you cook with love, every little piece that you do, including just a little dash of salt, is with love. And when you give it to someone and they eat it, you can feel the love. And that's how I feel about what you do with design. That you do it with
you so much,
and it all wraps in together, and you can feel it. So, thank you.
Appreciate it.
And last but not least, it's with great pleasure that I introduce to you our dear friend, Stephanie Hollingsworth. Stephanie is the founder of Pair Strategies, and it's a new company, and she's not new with Cosentino. She is a long friend of Cosentino. She is a former, and always will be, because they hate it when I say former, Silestone trend spotter. She will forever be a trend spotter, along with her group of friends who always laugh about saying that they're never going to go away, and they never have. Stephanie is a dear friend of the brand, a dear friend of Cosentino, and her energy and what she has done, and since I've met her, is really fascinating. I remember, Stephanie, one day you and I went on a walk, and we were at Kohler, and we were designing product at Kohler, and you had just finished designing the most beautiful kitchen space that we'll see in just a minute. And as we were walking, we ended up running into a kind of a dead end, and it was a railroad track. And we sat there and we talked, and you were so passionate about change and about doing something for your life that was different, and really thinking about how to strategize to do something that fulfilled you. And since then, I have seen you grow into this, opening this new business, and everything that you do, very similar to what I just said about Daniel, is just full of passion and love, and you can see it with your work. You're a dear friend, as I said, of the company, but also of mine. And it's just such a pleasure to have you and to see your new company that now talks about, gives people the ability to get guidance on interior and exterior spaces, product design. And you even help people with product and forecasting and trend development and color development, which is so incredible that you're doing that. Stephanie was also former, sat on the board of directors of ASID, and was also very instrumental in being part of the board for the foundation for ASID. She is a fellow, and she's an amazing friend of all the design community, and we are thrilled to have you as part of this panel.
Thank you, Patty.
Welcome. Thank you. So now that I've introduced all of our panelists, let's get to talking a little bit. And, you know, Daniel and Mitch and I tried really hard to see if we could be outside and show you the beautiful outdoors and bring it home to you. Stephanie was able to find a perfect spot where she would have good Wi-Fi with the greens in the back, but we unfortunately were not. And so you get to see our background. And we weren't able to get there, but I think sooner than later, I don't know what you guys think, but I think sooner than later, most of our homes will have better Wi-Fi outdoors than indoors as we develop this whole design world of being and spending more time outside. So I think next time we are in a panel together, we will definitely have that opportunity, and we'll all be outside enjoying the beautiful weather. Although I'm in Houston and it's like 100 degrees, so I'm really happy I'm not outside because it's humid. So I have a first question that I'd like to ask, and the question that I'd like to start with is for you, Mitch. When you decided to start working, and when you created all of your cabinets, which I don't know if I introduced you properly, but you know, for those that don't know Brown Jordan Outdoors and Denver, you have just a beautiful, unique stainless steel cabinetry. And there's one thing that you also do, and it is have the opportunity for people to use powder coat finishes to match any of their living spaces. Tell me why did you decide to go that route with your business, and how did you, and why did you decide to work with Decton and sort of collaborate into this outdoor spaces, and really before the outdoor spaces became so popular? Because like I said, you've been doing this for, I think, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 years, but also with us just for 7. But can you tell us a little bit about how you started and your inspiration in getting into this?
Sure, I'd love to tell you. About 20 years ago, I guess it's more than that now, in 1998, I bought a factory that made metal cabinets for copiers. So I knew that wasn't going to be something that would be really a good product going forward. There was no money in it, and whatever we made was going to be too expensive for a copier manufacturer. So we started making some stainless steel pieces, and I took them to the kitchen bath show, and people wanted me to make doors for kitchen cabinets. So I didn't even know anything about kitchen cabinets. So we built some doors. One of my customers in Connecticut, where the factory is, happened to be a kitchen cabinet manufacturer, and we made some doors for him. And he helped us build a kitchen, and we took it to Florida at the kitchen bath show the following year. And people were asking us if we could put those cabinets outdoors. The answer was no, because it was a wood cabinet with stainless steel on it. But it sounded, because it was not only one person, it was lots of people asking if we could put it outside. So it gave me an idea of maybe building a cabinet for outdoors, which we did the next year. And then we started getting a lot of requests for outdoor kitchens where they wanted cabinets and not one of the stucco hardy board type barbecue island that was really common at that time, and it's still very common actually. So we built some cabinets, and then ended up being asked by Viking Range if we would build cabinets for them, and that was in like 2004, I guess. So if we did that for about a year and a half, and then they decided that they wanted to build them themselves, which was probably a good thing, because it allowed us to develop a better product than what we were building for them. And right after that, we started powder coating, and we had a lot of architects and designers ask for cabinets in powder coat. We just happened to put it out there at a trade show, and the next thing you know, that became a thing, and that really grew. So we've been doing that since the 2005, 2006 timeframe. So since no one else was really building cabinetry at the time, it allowed us to experiment with a lot of options, cabinet sizes, fitting different grills, running into different problems, and then solving them by developing product, because we have design and engineering as well as manufacturing in-house. We have a powder coat line in-house, so we're able to control lead times. And it led to us meeting you guys at a show in LA. And at the time, there was a lot of confusion about what to use for an outdoor countertop. So we kind of met at the booth and talked about possibly working together, since we had need for recommending countertops, since we didn't sell countertops. And you were looking for a partner who was already at least in the outdoor space that could help move the new product that you had, which was a relatively new product, Decton. So that seemed like a good idea, and it's still a good idea. And that's how that evolved. And that was about 7 years ago. So yeah, it's been 20 years for us, and luckily we've collaborated with Daniel, meeting him through you, to create some really new stuff that we're really excited about, and Daniel will be happy to talk about, I'm sure.
Thank you, Mitch. Yeah, it's a great story, and I think that, you know, anyone that knows you knows that you guys have really been such pioneers into this segment, and your designs of your cabinets have been beautiful. I remember when we met, and like I said, you can find all of those in our Cosentino centers, which is fantastic that we are able to have that partnership, and we thank you for that. So you mentioned Daniel just a minute ago. So Daniel, as Mitch just said, you know, I think the dynamic trio that we became when you guys met, and automatically just, you know, somehow, you know, Mitch is just such a nice guy.
Only my mother says that.
And but you know, he obviously saw something amazing in you that we all see, and you know, we had such a great connection, and you took it just so fast to the next level. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about how that happened? And, you know, for those of you that never have seen it, and hopefully many of you have, I'd like to see if you can tell us a little bit about Asadito, because that is really where it all began. And those of you that speak Spanish know that the name is absolutely brilliant because of the way it's spelled out and what it represents. But I will let you explain that and tell us a little bit about how that came about, please.
Okay, so the story goes something like, we were developing colors with you, and we were at a show. I think it's the Architectural Digest show. It was the night that it was not Kips Bay, but there was a dinner that it was being hosted. DIFA, exactly. Thank you, Mitch. And so I met Mitch, and we were preparing to launch Industrial, and Industrial was in the works. And as you said, it was like instant connection, absolutely instant. And Mitch, I always say it's somebody who takes chances and sometimes has to go against the other people's opinions. But when he believes in something, he pushes through. And that was something super enticing. And as you know, Patty, and you know Mitch now, and Stephanie, you know that for me, I enjoy working with people that I can relate and I can enjoy. You know, you're giving your everything. You're giving your design, your creativity, your time, and this is an asset that we have. And so if we're about to open our souls and give you all of that, you know, what I love to do is do it in an environment where I get along with the other side. So we started developing Asadito, which was originally conceived as funny enough, there was not like an island that could be operated from both sides on outdoors. And the name, as you say, Patty, it came out because, you know, in Argentina, we do asados. And it was a play on the R2D2 phrase from Star Wars. And for me, it was Asadito, something that it could be pronounced and sort of like relatable, but had a deeper meaning for me, which is we grew up in Argentina grilling and eating a lot of beef. And this was an opportunity to put my imprint and do more of an outdoor furniture piece than a traditional grill. For me, grills in America were very much, you know, big and bulky, and they're always against the wall, and there was all the creativity that we show and that we design for indoors was never on the outdoors. And so I said, I can't be the only one doing this. And sure enough, I was. And that was a lucky strike. But what it was beautiful is that we were able to combine both companies, and this is what I usually try when I'm doing design, is combine the strength of the best of the partners that I can put together in the project. So Mitch put the bet on this and said, let's move forward. It was a long development process. It's not easy. It looks easy, but it is really not easy because we have to develop colors that match the Decton tops that we were using. But other than this, aside the color development, which is really, really kind of like a complicated process, it's just the development of a piece that literally broke ground in an arena that was never presented. So we took a chance. It worked out. I still love this. I love Asadito. I think it's in part like what also developed for me the relationship with Mitch and kept me going and developing more product and eventually becoming their creative director, and a mission that I take very, very seriously, because I think it's important to highlight how many, you know, there's so much to do in this industry, and when you find people like I think that is the Asadito that is in LA, that is the Asadito that is located in the LA city center, and so when you find people that invest and that believe in you like this, is such a blessing. So I am extremely, extremely excited to be walking this road with Mitch and Patty, and Patty, you will always be an integral part of this, because you were the one who literally make it happen. So, like with so many other things, thank you. I'm going to be saying thank you a lot. Actually, because of you, I met Stephanie. Also, because of that famous trip to Vegas with all the trend spotters.
That's when not a trend spotter.
And I not being one of them.
Yeah. Thank you, Daniel. And you're right. That is a perfect lead into our beautiful, glamorous Stephanie, who brings so much of all of this and how you put it all together. Stephanie, I'd love to hear a little bit about your expertise in this, between design, sustainability, the great outdoors, how this all kind of comes together in an ambiance, and what you can tell us about design and how it is evolving in people's homes in the outdoor world.
Well, I think that, we certainly design a lot of exterior spaces here in Santa Fe, and regionally because of our beautiful arid climate. People really want to be outdoors, and so we really do think about the outdoor spaces as rooms and spaces that aren't just afterthoughts. And even in space planning of a new construction project, we're looking at vistas from the inside out. So from any given point of view, through windows or doors, with circulation, what do you see? And so you want it all to be integral and to be fluid and to flow. And I think, often people think about the outdoor spaces maybe just when they entertain, and put a grill, as Daniel said, against a wall and build in this whole infrastructure for it. And then often in conversations it comes up that people don't want a vista to see that, to see the cooking component. And so that's one of the things I love about the pieces that Daniel is designing, is because it is another piece of beautiful furniture to be celebrated and focused on. But so we have for a long time really taken exterior spaces as rooms very seriously. We place rugs. There are wonderful outdoor lamps, with LED bulbs that don't have to be wired in even. And so we really do focus on all of the amenities that make our creature comforts and make us comfortable outdoors, but thinking about all of the elements of shading and supportive furnishings and a materials and color palette. And I think the materiality is something that we do really focus on early on because it's one of the broad strokes. And so it really needs to, again, be contiguous with what's happening inside, particularly with flooring and materials. And so that needs to be thought of early on. And certainly countertops are another component of that. But thinking about it on a more global scale, I've been listening to a lot of experts and people that I greatly admire in this field, in every sector. So office space, workplace, hospitality design, healthcare, all of those. We do design for hospitality and commercial office spaces as well as residences. And I think that there's going to be, obviously it's at a high level of conversation right now, the need for us to have spaces to spaces to be able to interact and commune, and feel a little more safe, and to be able to get what we all get from tapping into the outdoors and fresh air. And so I think that there's going to be more conversation about a higher percentage of footprint and space that will be outdoor space versus indoor space, and there'll be a higher premium for that. And so on all types of projects such as adaptive reuse, multifamily housing, office buildings and spaces, as well as residences, will be thinking about the use and the need for outdoor space and all that comes with that will be so necessary to support our lives and what we need as we think about new conditions such as COVID.
Yeah, absolutely. I can only imagine, as you were saying, first of all, some of those spaces just are so beautiful. So thank you for sharing those pictures. But it inspires you to want to be outside. And as you said, during COVID, I was thinking about kids and schools and how schools will probably really think about redesign and how to use an outdoor space for even for lunches. I mean, how brilliant to be able to use your spaces and have food places be outside and have kids be outside instead of always inside. So thank you for that. Very, very interesting. And it is interesting to see how all of that is continuing to change. And so, Daniel, going back to you for a minute, do you mind telling us a little bit, because it's hard to see the background of what we're looking at in the screen, but I know because I've seen it firsthand, this beautiful design of what you've got up your sleeve right now, and what you are bringing to market with Brown Jordan outdoor kitchens, and how you've utilized their beautiful cabinets and the 4mm Decton, which again is another innovation and a product that a lot of people don't even know about, that we've launched this past year with Decton 4mm. So can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Yes. So again, in this effort and this daring chance that Mitch keeps taking to listen to me sometimes, we keep developing beautiful kitchens that, as Stephanie said, they're not just big and they are against walls. They're pieces of furniture that you can place anywhere and they could be enjoyed and not be an eyesore. So we are launching actually right now Elements, and Elements, it's the new modular version that we created. And if you want to show a couple of the pictures, so there you have it. So as you can see, it could be kind of like the star of the show together with furniture, right? I mean, it's not like this modularity and this design allows you to separate it in individual modules. We have 4 different measurements that you can combine. The new technology we're using in terms of closing and all the doors are sealed and they stay perfectly closed, which it's really important in being outdoors, because the last thing you want is, if you want to make these kitchens really functional, is if you store stuff inside these cabinets that it goes wrong. So basically we developed this system that, as you can say, one of the pieces is a credenza, and that credenza can be used for many, many different uses. I mean, in this case, it works as an island in the kitchen, but it could be used as a storage unit to putting, away the pillows of your furniture or the stuff in the pool. And of course, there is the lightness of when we designed this, we thought about keeping it light and functional. So being able to clean under the surfaces and clean under the kitchen, and hence the kitchen is raised on legs, and I think that it makes for the perfect outdoor solution. Of course, everything is paired with Decton on top, and we use many different finishes, but everybody knows that my preferred finish for these kind of situations is Decton, because of the resilience. And I think that, again, the marriage between the resiliency of Decton as a material for surfaces and the stainless steel powder coated that Brown Jordan is able to bring to market is what makes this product so I think beautiful. Again, the combinations are endless. The color palette that we have is, again, the sky is the limit with this kitchen, and we want to appeal to a broader audience. We want to appeal to the homeowner also, that sees this and falls in love, not just the contractor or the exterior or the landscape designer, but we want to appeal to the owner, and we want to show them that having beautiful furniture outdoors is possible without losing any of the qualities that you need for a piece to be outdoors. And that is one of the biggest challenges, tying with what Stephanie said, that right now the outdoors is a room in the house. It's another room that you design with detail, you design with views, you design with care, and you decide how it looks from the back, from the front, from the sides, and you try to make it organic. And I think that is what makes outdoors so hot at the moment. So for me, partnering right now with Brown Jordan and Denver and Decton, I mean, it's, and also all my other background, designing furniture and outdoor furniture, it's such a perfect marriage. It's like, I love the outdoors. I love how inspiring these rooms could be, and how it could literally add sometimes to homes that are they not necessarily need to be as beautiful as this Aspen chalet that I would love to be skiing in, like right off of it. But I'm talking about that maybe you live in a smaller, more contained space and you have a more humble space to be outdoors, but there is no reason why that space isn't in use as an extra room. And so right now, the technology is there, the materialities are there, fabrics that resist all kinds of like weather conditions. And so I think that in this specific case, you're going to see more and more of companies going out. And as you could say, most of the companies that do furniture, B&B, Casina, I mean, Flexform, you name them, they're all doing outdoor collections. And so this is something that it's, I'm lucky to be working with somebody like Mitch that tapped into this business 20 years ago. So we're a little bit ahead of the curve. And I think that it's, that it's great. I mean, I can only be thankful. So
I would frankly insert that I would love to use those pieces indoors as well. I know this is an outdoor discussion today, but I would love to put a range and use these indoors. And I mean, I use a lot of outdoor furniture, certainly outdoor fabrics, indoors. And I think actually there's a lot of argument to be made for these indoors because of their finishes with all of the sanitation and cleaning and all of those kinds of concerns that are top of mind right now. It really does, I think, open itself up for a much more expanded considerations.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Thank
That
you
sounds
for
good.
that, because that is my conversation.
Right.
You hear that, Mitch? I'm looking at
Yes.
you. Okay, I know the other side there.
Daniel did not pay me to say that.
I did not pay her, but this is a conversation that I've been having with Mitch, and we're developing such beautiful furniture. And when you look at the picture, I don't know if you saw of the cabinet. I don't know if you have the drawer picture of the elements. The finishes that we can give to these kitchens is so beautiful, and it is so on point with COVID right now. I mean, this is a kitchen that can withstand. Look at that.
Yeah.
And that is powder coated. This is
Powder coated walnut.
wood powder coated. Yeah, walnut. And so why couldn't that be an indoor kitchen that it has way less maintenance than a wood kitchen or a lacquered kitchen? I mean, the water doesn't do a dent on it. I mean, the conversation is there. So then again, once we go back to the 4 picture of us, I'm gonna look at Mitch and say, there we go. We need to do it.
Hey, I'm happy to test it indoors in my kitchen if you want to send a sample. I got the Decton I can use. I can tell you how it works in case you're wondering.
And as you said, Patty, the other thing that we're doing is we're developing the paneling with 4 millimeters, and that is something that opens also a humongous universe of applications. So that's why this partnership is so amazing, because we keep up with each other and developing these 4 millimeter doors. It's what is coming next, and it's no surprise. We did this first partnership last year with Polyform, and we presented this beautiful kitchen that I designed with them. And I think that is the future for indoors too. You having materials that are sturdy, don't go wrong, and that they can outlast the daily use. So there we go.
You nailed it with that orange. I mean, first of all, I absolutely love it. I'm so mad I'm not wearing my bright orange right now because that is my color. But that color is fantastic, and I cannot agree more with Stephanie. I think that's something that you guys should really think about bringing in, because between the outdoor and the indoor, I mean, it's fabulous. So congrats to both of you for that. And Mitch, before I ask Mitch's question, I do want to let our audience know that we have about 5 more minutes before I'm going to open it up to questions from you. So if you do have questions, we really want to hear from you. So we're going to have a full 15 minutes where anyone can ask a question, and I will be reading out your questions out loud and have our panelists answer them. So guys, we have about 5 more minutes, and Mitch, I want to bring it back to you for a minute. You know, we talked about your 20 years of design and in this industry, and we've all been talking a little bit about the future of outdoor kitchens and what you see in the industry is something I'd like to know. And also, what about multifamily projects? Is this making a big impact or any kind of an impact at all in your business right now?
Yeah, well, there's 2 things. One is that our mission, if you will, as a manufacturer is to create products and I guess products to give the real artists out there, the designers and architects, landscape architects, the tools to be able to create great spaces. So we take our cues from them as to what to develop, which is why I was so interested in working with Daniel. And that's also led to some of our multifamily installations. And what we're seeing now is a huge need for well-developed product that lasts for years and years in common area spaces in multifamily buildings. There's rental units where the developer really just wants shared areas. But then there's also owned areas where the homeowner actually buys a condo or a townhome and they want to have something on their balcony or on their rooftop if they happen to have a penthouse. So there's a lot of opportunity in the multifamily segment, which continues to grow in urban areas as well as suburban areas. We're seeing a lot of garden-style apartments, 3 and 4 stories high, that have a lot of shared areas. Many developers are competing with one another to have better amenity spaces, and we make special products for those applications as well, and see that going really gangbusters for the next several years. I'm hoping that, we're still seeing it build right through the COVID situation, because a lot of those types of building sites continue to build. They have to safe distance and all that kind of stuff, but they're continuing to build right through this this tough time right now, and it's helped our business continue to expand even through this time. Maybe not as strong as last year, but certainly we're seeing that segment really continue. The home building, I think, is going to continue to grow because, as Daniel said, it's really a room that the builder can take advantage of for building something that homeowners want that he can get paid for, as opposed to just putting a barbecue grill in the backyard. So I don't want to eat up any more time because we want to get some of those questions, but all those segments are really moving fast right now.
That's fantastic. I can
Thank
see
you for the time.
Sure, I can see how that happens. So we do have a lot of questions, so I'm going to jump right in and ask you the questions, and then we will hopefully make it through all of them. The first one is, as designers, so this will go for you, Daniel, and Stephanie, whoever wants to take it. But as designers, how do you go about building relationships with brands that has led to partnerships and collaborations? Daniel, go for
it. Okay. So I go about, first of all, studying the companies that I want to approach. There is no one rule for everything. So I think that the most important thing is, first of all, love the brand that you're about to collaborate with. And if you respect their point of view and their design, then what my process is usually to study their catalogs, study their history, study which designers are working for them, because that also gives me a hint of what direction they like to go into. And knowing many people in this industry, it's something that makes the process easier, let's say. Once you know that there are certain names that you're friends with and that and that their design ethics, I think that makes that process easier. But I think that the most important thing, once you study the catalog and once you got close to to knowing about them, and you think that you may have a product that may resolve one of their needs, which I think is one of the things that it's important. It's not just proposed product, but proposed product that may fill a gap in their portfolio. It's also, for me, very, very basic, as I said before, a gut feeling. It's like I get along with this person. When I meet, I get along with the conversation style. I see how other people work in the environment in their offices, and that gives me hints to know if I want to move forward or not. So more often than not, it's a combination of both. I've been burned a couple of times with thinking that I knew where I was putting my foot into, but for the majority of my interactions, proven like appropriate, like doing my study and feeling inside of me if this was the good path to take or not. So I'm not sure if, Stephanie, this is sort of like similar for you or.
Yeah, I think there's not much I could add. You addressed it really well. I just think that there's a symbiosis that occurs when it's a right fit, and I believe whether it's clients and designers or with manufacturers, there's got to be a good alignment and fit, and it's a mutually beneficial relationship.
Yeah, thank you. So, Mitch, as your product is for outdoor spaces, how do you ensure that it will be a product that actually lasts?
Well, luckily we made some 20 years ago that are still out there. So what we try to do, I mean,
that's about as great of an answer as any.
The material is pretty resilient. I live in South Florida now, and salt attacks everything in different ways in some cases, but nonetheless, it attacks everything. And you kind of have to do maintenance. So what we try to do is things that will reduce the amount of maintenance you have to do. Some people, expect it to need no maintenance until it does. And then they realize, but they'll be glad to tell you how in South Florida, everything that they have rusts or oxidizes or fades or whatever they got. And then they don't do any cleaning anyway. So if you do clean it, it'll last indefinitely. That's really what we've found, and what we try to do is mitigate the need to do it by, in our case, powder coating the stainless steel, because I have a boat and the boat's on the salt water, and if you don't clean marine grade stainless, it pits and will have surface rust, even though it's marine grade stainless. Platinum would be better, but platinum costs a lot of money. So no one wants to pay for platinum unless you buy a yellowfin boat. And then you still have to clean it off because you'll get salt on it and other things. But nonetheless, if you use the right materials and you do a tiny bit of maintenance, then you can have something that'll last indefinitely. And that's why we're doing powder coat that looks like wood, because a lot of people like the look of wood. And you'll see some of our kitchens look like wood, but there's very little maintenance that's required there. It's just hosing it off, because it's actually completely sealing the material inside the powder coat, which is baked on.
Okay, and thank you, Mitch. And I'll ask you, since I've got you, what percentage of your sales are related to new construction, including single and multifamily units? And then how much of those are remodels?
I probably, years ago, when I was actually selling things personally, I could tell you. We're seeing a lot of both, but I would say the multifamily is almost all new construction. The residential products, there's a lot of remodeling going on. We see a lot of what I would call maybe a whole house remodel, where they tear off half the house and rebuild it much larger, and then do a large backyard project, which will include, in many cases, an entertainment space, some cooking space, seating, and that kind of thing. So I guess if I were to estimate it, it's close to 100% of the multifamily is new, and residential is probably 70% new. because we do a lot of the major builders, and those are building new construction.
Okay, thank you. Stephanie, what are you looking for when you are specifying for the outdoors?
I'm looking for materials and furnishings that have integrity and that will last and that will be easy enough to maintain, that are congruous with the interiors, as I said, and that, we're all about programming to really talk with the homeowners about what, or the owners, what their uses are, what their needs are, what's the circulation, and then how can the furnishings and the finishes support all of those needs.
Okay, thank you. And then this question is anyone who wants to take it. In your opinion, what makes investing in an outdoor space worth the remodel?
Well, I'll take what I've learned from people who tell me is that that space can become more square footage for the house. And what people have told me is that it really adds value and makes for a quicker sale if you have a really nice outdoor space for entertaining. That's a thing that people are looking for. That's what the home builders are telling us. And again, we work with a lot of home builders, both custom and large companies like Toll Brothers, for instance. They put them in all their models, and they sell lots of them, and it makes the sales go very well. And in many cases, they're competing with other home builders who are trying to outdo them on the outdoor space, because they all see it as really valuable for them, because now they have a profitable space outdoors rather than one that wasn't there before, and that people really value it. It's probably more valuable than a pool, and that's one of the reasons that we see these things really being put in almost every house that we by every builder we work with.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Nothing like walking in and seeing a beautiful outdoor space to get inspired. Let's see. So Daniel, what do you see trending for outdoor? Is it always a kitchen, or do you see lounge or water activities popping up more and more?
I think that everything that relates to the outdoors is popping. I really don't like the word trending, but or trend, but for me, it's anything. As Mitch was saying, I think that we all are finding value in living outside, and when you have to outfit an outdoors, everything that you put in has to be of consequence. So the selection of your furniture, the selection of the materials that you use on your deck, on your, everywhere in anything, from the lamp that you put to lead your little living room area outside, to what materials you use in your cooking section, and what you use in your pool, what you use in your deck. I mean, everything, I think it has to be very conscious. So in terms of trending, I'm seeing more one than another. I think that people are cooking more outdoors. I think that people are cooking, and so kitchens are hot, and there's a lot of kitchen companies, European kitchen companies, that are jumping into the outdoor market. Same way that indoor companies are jumping on the outdoor market. Same thing with kitchens. So I'm not sure so much about water features and all of that, but
I would jump in to speak to say many of our clients request the water feature because, of course, here in the desert, we don't have a lot of water. And so they love to have that sound. And I think it's a contributor to this wellness discussion. So things that calm and tranquilize and, help you tap into all of the natural resources, water being at a premium, and outdoor showers, actually. And that's one of my favorite amenities. And I think one of the photographs that you showed was of a shower that was right off the kitchen and the shared space. So I think having all of those aspects of interior rooms come outdoors all are interrelated and support a wonderful outdoor experiences.
Oh, I love that. That's sexy. An outdoor shower is sexy, but it's like it gives you that freedom of just being outdoors and taking it. I love it. There's beautiful hotels that have that feature, and I think you're right, Stephanie. I love that added pop. So, Stephanie, speaking to you now, what do you suggest for someone who's living in a small rental with a limited patio area? Any favorite ways or brands that you would use to maximize that space?
Maybe a smaller profile of the outdoor mobile kitchen range furniture piece.
Good one.
but I think that it's all about scale, and so even if you had a smaller chair and a very comfortable chair, an ottoman, and maybe another pull-up chair, and a small side table that can be moved around and that you can access, and maybe I use poofs a lot. There's some wonderful outdoor poofs that you can, again, they're easy, they're lightweight, you can scoot them around as needed, you can bring them indoors, outdoors, and so that's another element that I think can really help. It's all about kind of flexibility, I think, for smaller spaces and the indoor-outdoor aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Mitch, how can we get samples of your cabinets?
Cabinets or colors?
Well, it says cabinets, but I'm assuming that you can send samples of like a little color chip, right?
Yeah, we have all that. We have reps all over North America that have sample base cabinets, small ones, so that if someone wanted to see it, they could come into to show it to people. And then we have dealers all over the country, or actually all over North America, and Hawaii, and the Caribbean.
All right, everywhere.
And Mexico.
And you
they could go, I would say they can go online, and if they go to Brown Jordan Outdoor Kitchens or Denver Outdoor Kitchens, there is a form that you can fill, and then the rep will contact you once you fill it up, and then the request goes straight to the rep.
And you can also go to your nearest Cosentino center. And
you could do that. Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
All right. One more question for you, Mitch. How do the doors, and I'm sure that Daniel, you can help with this one, but how do the doors on Elements seal? Are you using any material as the core of your stainless steel door, or is it a single skin of stainless steel?
Well, there's a front and a back, two pieces in that door with the back bevel. It's got a gasket seal with magnets. So it holds tight. It's a real strong magnet, sucks the gasket tight. And the door is pretty heavy duty and is really kind of nice. 3 hinges.
Thank you. Okay. Well, it's almost time for us to end. And that was the last question for now. So before we go, is there any last minute thoughts that you all would like to leave us with? Stephanie, anything you'd like to tell the panel before we say goodbye?
I think quickly, an interesting thought, a concept is for restaurants to bring a piece of furniture like the one we're seeing, that back of house, I've heard, maybe become more front of house. People want transparency in what they're eating and how it's made. And so I think having this be a beautiful part of a restaurant design could be really interesting.
I love that.
Thank you.
I love that. Mitch?
Well, we actually build a series of cooking carts and bars for roll around outdoors as for restaurants and hotels and pool areas that people entertain at, and also for commercial spaces. And we've been selling those for about 5-6 years now from our hospitality product line. And we have that at Brown Jordan Outdoor Kitchens, and I think that's a really good way to attack this move outdoors, and like you say, make everything front of house. because people want to see it, be prepared, and that's why we developed that line.
Thank you, Mitch. And Mr. Germani.
Well, I think that I would like to finish more on a personal note than keep talking about design and business and the things we love. I just would like to take this opportunity to encourage everybody to take a minute and appreciate all the good that we have around us, whether it's at home, whether it's in your friends, in your families, in your network, in your everyday life, in every single breath that you take. Because I think that in today's world, we are so pummeled every day with stuff and under appreciating the impact that COVID will have in all of us. I think it's a mistake. I think that this thing is really changing us as humans. And I see this in my mother. My mother is 78, 79 in August, and she's been closed in her condo for 90 days, and they just extended the quarantine for another 30 days. So something that she said was really poignant, because she said, this is unfair because for you that are younger, you have a lifetime ahead of you. For me that I'm 79, they're really taking the time that I have left. And so I wanna, because there is all this love in this conversation and all these relationships that are so meaningful, take a minute to appreciate, take distance, look at the positive. We have way more positive around us than negative. So that would be the only thing that I would say to close this.
Thank you, Daniel. That means
Thanks,
a lot.
Daniel.
And it's true. And I'd like to end by thanking the three of you again for your friendship and for what it means to Cosentino. We also at Cosentino would like to leave with that message, which is stay healthy, do what you can, and know that we are here and we are taking all the precautions possible. As a company and as an employee of Cosentino, I'm very proud of working with the company, and even more proud of the partnerships that we have with people like you, Daniel, and like you, Mitch, and Brown Jordan Outdoor Kitchens, and Danver, and like you, Stephanie. And I wish you the best with your new endeavor as well. So with that, personally, thank you to all who came to watch, all of you that are here today spending time. I know that it's getting harder and harder for people to come out to these panels because people are starting to have different worlds. They're opening up, or you're just tired of them. So we really appreciate it. And we hope that we left you with a little bit of inspiration on what to do for your beautiful outdoor space. Thank you again, and have a great evening.
Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Cosentino.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Patty.
Good seeing everybody.